Welcome to the Visit Arctic Europe webinar on sustainability and learnings from Norway. My name is Ingrid, and I will be holding this seminar today, the webinar today. And I would like to first test the chat and ask you who's around the table today. Are there any more attendees? Please write your name and company, and we will see who are joining us. The Visit Arctic Europe's ambition is that this year, 2020, will be the Make It Happen year in your businesses when it comes to sustainability. And the Visit Arctic Europe will help you along the road on this matter. So this is the first of 3 webinars on sustainability work in tourism. I will talk about some learnings from Norway today, and the second webinar will be on the 14th of February with Milena Nikolova. I think, Milena, in Be Smart, you're already also with us today, so that's great. And the third one will be on the 17th of March and have more like practical, we call it tips and tricks in Norwegian, from businesses on how do we do this. And then we will meet hopefully in Haparanda in May to discuss even more in groups. You will meet other businesses that have chosen the same topics as you have to work on in the 2020 Make It Happen year in your businesses when it comes to sustainability. Welcome. I see more coming into the webinar. That's great. I'll just tell you who I am. I work in Mimir. We are a consultancy business in the tourism development field. And these are my colleagues, both Ronny, Bård, Sarah, and Anjori are working into the team Visit Arctic Europe from Mimir, and I know that many of you already know them very well. My name is Ingrid, and I've been working in different fields in tourism development, and the last year quite a lot in the sustainability issues. So I'm certified coach for the sustainability work on destinations in Norway. That Innovation Norway, they have a label for destinations. I will tell you more about that later. I will try to share some of my experiences and insights in this work with you. Now I am working with some destinations that you can see on the presentations with this label, Sustainable Destinations, or Merke for bærekraftig reisemål, also in the Visit Arctic Europe region. So I don't know if we have anyone from Senja or Bodø or Vesterålen, Lofoten here. I can't really see that in the chat, but these are some of the destinations I work with now. So over to today's focus. We will talk about sustainability work in tourism, in the tourism field. And I will start by giving you some of my reflections and perspectives to the field, and also why Norway can offer some learnings, hopefully, to our colleagues in Sweden and Finland. And I will talk a bit about this label for destinations. Then we will focus on the main 5 priorities that you have given feedback and answered on the survey that Visit Arctic Europe have held, and that you have chosen to work with, to say you will work with for the coming year. And I will share some of my experience in these 5 priority areas with you. And I would also like to share some inspirations with you, so you can keep up the good work on the sustainability field. Because I know it can be hard to find inspiration and time in a busy schedule to actually work on these matters. Some practical issues before we start. The webinar will last for a couple of hours until 12. I will divide it into 4 parts, with the first 3 with presentations, and I would like to close each part with a Q&A session, and then we will try to have a break between each part as well, so you can fill up the coffee or whatever. And then the last half an hour, I think that we can have more sharing of reflections and even more questions from you on the topics that we have been discussed. So if you would like to use the chat, please do so while I'm speaking. But I think that we will have the answering. I will try to answer you after each part. But if you have something that you would like to ask about, please use the chat. I see now that Karin and Milena joined us. Very welcome. And please use the chat for questions along the way. And I will try to answer in the closing parts after each topic. And I will also try to ask you some small questions where we use a small survey. So the platform for us today, I know that you're familiar with the, hello Hilde from Nordnorsk, welcome. I would like to start here because the UN Sustainability Goals for 2030, we see more and more in the public debate that these goals are the platform for both businesses, for public, for a lot of the discussion. These are going, the platform is these sustainability goals, and it's used by nations, regions, industries, and political actors even more and more. So I think that we should all print out this and put it on our wall, both home and in our offices, because these goals are the platform for our developing, also from the tourism sector, also in the tourism sector. And the green shift, as we call it, we've been, of course, talking about this for many years, but it's really accelerating at this time. I think that in all industries we see it, in the public sectors, private households, and it's all about how to make it happen. Innovation and the technology is focusing on it. You have in natural resources and in the land area management. more even products and services, business models. So it's accelerating the green shift. So as a small warming up, I would like you to use the chat and give me an example from your personal life. Just write it down. Have you done anything the last year to contribute to a more sustainable future? I have had changing of the clothes together with my friends. We call it byttekveld, where we take things out of the our wardrobes and change them. Have you done something like that or other things? Please share in the chat. Change diesel car into hybrid. Great, Maria. Do we have other examples from your personal life the last year? Done something? Oh, we have a lot of activity here, so you've been doing very well. Okay, we have one change diesel car into hybrid. Okay, recycling garbage, great. Rotate children clothes, great. Electric car, shop stop, yes. Laila, good. We have, yes. So you are doing different actions on your private life. Moving to more energy efficient appliances at home, Milena, yes, great. So keep on writing down good examples from your private life. And working with tourism destinations in Norway and sustainability the last 10 years, I think that we see a shift now from talking about why sustainability is important and to talk about how can we do it. When I had presentations 5-7 years ago about this field, it was more about mobilizing, talking about why is this important for the tourism industry to work on. When I was in Bergen 1.5 weeks ago, starting up their process for the destination on working towards the label, no one in the steering committee asked about why. It was all about how. What can we do? What will have effect? How can we work with this in a balanced and good way? So I think that we have a shift and also much more critical voices also in this field, that it must not be greenwashing, it must be real changes, that it must be targeted and monitored before you go out and tell your customers and your partners about it. So it's I think it's great that the Visit Arctic Europe has put sustainability on their agenda, and that we are working on it through these webinars and also when we meet in Haparanda, and that you are working on your issues in your businesses. Okay, so we have also on the chat here, let's see, recycle in the system and not buying new clothes until the old ones are worn out. Yes, yes, clothes, and also about changing some of your menus and how you buy it. Very good. Keep sharing the good examples. So look to Norway, learnings from Norway. And when I was preparing this webinar, it's not about the thinking that Norway, compared to Sweden or Finland, I think that the Nordic countries are really good in the sustainability work. But I will talk to you with my examples, working mostly in Norway with Norwegian destinations and Norwegian businesses. And it's not about bragging about Norway, but it's kind of I feel that I'm proud in a way to be from Norway and from the Nordic countries, and it was actually Gro, our former prime minister, that used this name. Sustainable development was actually used for the first time in '87 when they had this report on our common future. So it was it is actually something to be proud of for us coming from Norway and from our neighbor countries about the sustainability. Actually, over 30 years ago, from this work in the World Commission on Environment and Development. So this is a good thing to think about. So Norway, as you can see, we've been an early bird, and also in the field of the tourism sector. I think that we have been working on sustainability and tourism for many years. Already in the 2007, it was built into the national tourism strategies, and this toolbox for the destination, it was started in 2010. And so the first destinations in Norway, they received this label in 2014. And it was, these sustainability targets from the UN, they came out in 2015, working towards 2030. And the Sustainability Tourism Year in the UN in 2017. So that, in a way, is like the early bird stage of this Norwegian work, especially on the destination level. I know that all you have been working on the business level for many years, but Norway, also in the other countries, but this label on the destination platform was started early in Norway. And of course, as I said, now the focus on sustainability is required, and it's a must really when we are working towards the future. And I would like to show you a small movie to get you inspired before we go more in depth. Let's see if we can do this. This is a small movie from Innovation Norway about sustainability work. Yes, so can you see the presentation again? Please write in the chat. I hope that it's working good. So the movie from Innovation, thank you. The movie just showed some images of this early bird position. I think that Norway and also, of course, in Sweden and Finland, that we have we can be proud of it, but we also have to know this position and really work on it for the coming years. This sustainable destination label that we have in Norway, I know that there are some of you working closely on that from the Norwegian destinations joining us, Lyngenfjord, maybe, I don't know, the North Cape, if you are working on it right now, but there are more in the Helgeland region, of course, Vega, and other in the north of Norway. But this is, I would like to, so you know it maybe quite well, but I would like to explain it for our colleagues in Sweden and in Finland. So it's systematic and long-term approach working with sustainability on a yes, great, Hege, North Cape is a process of starting, good for you. So I think that you know the saying about think globally and act locally. In a way, this is on the destination level for the Norwegian tourist destination. That they work within their municipality or the destination. And of course, the businesses work on their part with different actions and also certification. We will talk about that later on the business level. And also, of course, countries work with their targets. But at the destination level, Innovation Norway, they started to develop this label for around 2010. And it's not like a diploma in a way. Of course, you're very happy when you can put the label on your wall, but it requires continuous development. When a destination has reached the label, answering on criteria and indicators, they can, after 2 years, get this label, but they will have to work continuously to get their remarked label after some years. And the standard that the destination work on, they include 44 criteria and 104 indicators. And it is also one of the few systems that's approved in the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. And it was made then back in 2010 on using the 10 principles that the WTO had on sustainability in tourism. So it is a balanced standard working on both the environmental and the cultural protection areas of the destination, the social equity and the life quality of the destination, and also on the economic viability. And one of the destinations I work with was in the western part of Norway. The project leader there, Benedicte, she told me, we discussed it, and she said that working with this system, it's really good because it puts a focus on the work It put the pressure on the municipality, on the public sector. It gives a good role in a way for the destination to work on, a platform to work on, and it includes also the businesses. So you can work on destination level with sustainability in many ways, I think, but this tool or this system is a really good one for a focused and also included way of working, because you have to get the signatures from both the municipality, the mayor has to say, yes, we will work on it, the board of the destination company has to sign, and also the members or the businesses have to sign as a member of the destination company that they will work together in a long term. So it's really great that more than 100 of the municipalities in all over Norway are now working on this with this tool and this system for the last years. 17 destinations have the brand we have in northern Norway, Svalbard, Vega, Lyngenfjord, and Tromsø, who achieved the label just Tromsø some few months ago. And we have a lot more to come also from the northern part of Norway. Lofoten, Vesterålen, Alta, Varanger, Narvik, Kirkenes, Senja, and Bodø. All destinations in the Visit Arctic Europe project. So I think it's a lot of learning from these destinations to our Swedish and Finnish colleagues. So if there are any of the destinations representative from Finland and Sweden who would like to get more depth information about this, please contact me afterwards, and we can do some more details on this tool. But of course, there are dilemmas. You know as well as I that it's easier said than done, because balancing people, planet, and profit issues is not easy. On one hand, it can be favorable for the businesses to do some actions, but not for the society, the municipality, the people living in the district, in the small communities. On the other hand, there can be restrictions on what you can do in, for example, nature areas that feels for some of the businesses kind of unfair, so they can't really use the great possibilities to build up their businesses. So we have a lot of these examples, both I guess in Finland and Sweden and in Norway, and a huge debate actually that in a way puts tourism in a bad light in the public discussions, and that's something we have to be aware of, and that's also something that it's important to work on in the communication area. So in Norway now, just before the weekend, we actually got this Klimakur, it's called. It's climate change towards 2030 for Norway, on how we shall reduce 50% of our non-quota emissions in 2030 compared to 2005. And in the media then, we have our government telling us, yes, this is a great report. Yes, we want to deal on climate cuts as long as the growth continues. And of course, is this for real that we can do it, or is it utopia? I don't know, but of course there are different voices on these matters. I would just show you a small example that shows some of the dilemmas, and then if you have some questions for the first part, please write them now, and we take them before we take a small break. So this case is about snow. It's the biggest indoor arena in the world for snow experiences, just 15 minutes outside Oslo. It opened in January this year. It's a huge project. Have anyone of you visited it? Please write in, or have anyone you visited these type of indoor snow experience arenas? Please type it in. So this is a huge project, 3 billion Norwegian kroners. The ski hall alone is about 700 millions. It's 4 times our biggest arena, Telenor Arena. Okay, North Cape is in the process of starting. Okay. No, not with building. Yes, good. Karin, how much electricity does the indoor ski arena use? Yes, that is some of the dilemmas, because reflections about this case. Yes, it's adapting to climate change. We do have less snow in Norway, in southern part of Norway where I live, in Halden. I can actually see Sweden when I look out my my office window, but I live in the south side. We haven't had snow this winter at all. No skiing here. So it's adapting, but it's changed that in one of the true winter countries as Norway, do we really need to go inside for skiing? Okay, that's a dilemma. We have the use on the good side, new technology to make the snow production smarter. But on the other side, they got Enova, which supporting good climate, good electricity actions for businesses. Artificial snow, making the artificial snow rather than using nature snow where it still exists outside in Norway, up in your areas, for example. Okay, we can see on the positive side, it saves people from driving cars to the mountain resorts. That's good. But as you say, Karin, it's huge energy usage from this building and operations. We can say on the positive side, it's really good for the public health perspective. A lot of people living in Oslo, they can be sporty, active, easily just outside their own doors. But on the other side, this costs money to go into this huge venue. Is it then for everyone or not? We can say on the positive side, it saves areas in vulnerable mountain destinations in the districts. But on the other side, what about the local value creation in the rural areas? We really have a lot of differences in Norway with businesses, offices in Oslo, developing, and in the districts, people are moving, they are not so easy to get a job, differences between the cities and the districts. On the positive side, the last reflections that I give you, this is a profitable business model, entrance tickets. These guys investing in this one, they have they know that this will give them money back on their investments. But on the other side, Is it unfair? Because we have been discussing about finance trails and tracks outside in Norway in the mountain destinations for a lot of years, and now someone can make business and putting the scheme inside and then taking money from it. Yes. Dubai, they also have, I know. So this is what I will say, a kind of case that gives you the both sides, plus, minus, plus, minus. I haven't been there, but I will drive past it on Thursday on my way to Sjusjøen, north of Lillehammer, where I would be skiing outside. Yeah. Now, do you have any questions on this before we take a small break? Please write in the chat. Karin, you asked about how much electricity the indoor ski arena use. I don't know, but I can try to check it out because this is a good question. It's a lot. Karin is typing something. Let's see. Yeah, good reflection. Okay, I then invite you to take a 5-minute break. If you have a coffee machine or something else you would like to fill up. So I'll see you here in 5 minutes time. Thank you. So we'll be starting in 2 minutes again with going into the second part of the webinar. So are there any new ones coming in to join us, please write their name and company. So I see who's attending, please. Waiting for people to sit down on their chairs again after getting a coffee or something. I'd like to invite you to share an example from your company. Have you done any actions during the last year to contribute to a more sustainable future, thinking about both the people, planet, or profit, or one of them, or a couple of them in combination? An example that you've done, please share with the other ones listening to the webinar. I know that you are doing it, but it would be great to get some examples. Yeah, shopping locally into the company, great. That's one of the topics that a lot of you have talked about and are in the survey. Minimizing use of paper and plastic on events, great. Carbon offsetting, yes. Travel of employees, great. Yeah, electric snowmobiles in 2021, when they will be ready. Yeah, being an early bird, that's important. The new technologies are coming and we will start using them. Great. And sustainable due to food. Yeah, great. So you have, thank you for sharing examples on how you and what you have been doing the last year. And as we started this webinar with, to say that the ambition in the Visit Arctic Europe family is that 2020 will be the make it happen year in your business when it comes to sustainability. So great that you've been working the last year and even more to come in 2020, hopefully. Great, Hilde, you're also typing, so please share examples in the chat. We will now go into the survey on sustainability that Visit Arctic Europe launched in June and asked questions all the summer until September last year. 90 of the total of 122 members answered, and there were representatives from all 3 countries, so that's great. And the survey mapped the ambitions in your companies in terms of working with the sustainability. And there were 10 subjects listed, and you were asked to choose 3 subjects you would like to work with during the next year. And you have all the results in the last newsletter on attachment, the last newsletter from the Visit Arctic Europe. So I will go through some of the findings today, but if you would like to dig more into it, please read more in the newsletter. But first, I would like to have a micro survey on the surveys. So let's see if we can make this happen. I will ask you small question. Can you see that now? please write your answer. Did your company answer the survey on sustainability? Yes or no, or you don't know. That's also fair. Let's see. I have 3 answers. The other ones joining us, can you please also answer? Let's see. We have 2 of you telling me that you did answer it, and 2 of you didn't know. What about the other? Did you answer yes or no, or maybe you don't know? Give it one more try. If you can answer on the small micro survey. Yeah. So we have some of you did, some of you did not. Let's see. Did you see the results now? Yeah. So some of you know this answered the survey, and some of you did not. So that's great. So I will go through some of the findings. The survey, as I said, asked about 10 subjects, and you were to choose 3 of them. So overall, there are differences within the countries, but overall there were 5 subjects ranked at the top. And we will go through these 5 focus areas. And they are buy as much as possible locally. 41% overall said that that's 1 out of 3 priority subjects to work on. Reduce impact on nature and environment. 38% overall said that's important. And strengthen local culture, identity, and tradition. Also 38% said that. Karin, and the strategic new season development on the 4th place, and improve energy resource efficiency on the 5th place. I've got a question from Karin, where in Basecamp can I find the results of the survey? I will publish the link in the next break, but you can find it under one of the maps called knowledge, I think. Great. On the 10 subjects, I'm also curious about the answers on the bottom 2. So if we have time, I also would like to ask you on some reflections on why improved employment quality got the lowest score, together with improved visitor management. And we can discuss that maybe in the last part of the webinar. But let's go on the first one. Buy as much as possible locally. The Swedes and the Norwegian answers were found that most important. The Finns also, but not as much. Maybe you have already good systems for it and that you do it. But 38 of the companies that answered said that this is 1 out of 3 important priorities to focus on. Locally produced food is the biggest and most important area within the things that you told in the survey that you would like to work on. Locally produced food. And of course, also other things, gifts, services, transport to buy things within your own region is something that you are really wanting to work on. And I would like to share an example from the western part of Norway, from a guest house called Bekkjarvik. Have any one of you been there, or do you know anything about it? Please tell me about it in the chat. The Bekkjarvik guest house, it's in Austevoll. That's a small island south of Bergen. And in this region, in this Austevoll municipality, I think there are 500 islands and big and small islands. And the main industry for decades, it's been fishery. Some of the wealthiest ship owners of fish trawlers, they come from this Bekkjarvik area. And they even have 3 coat of arms in the municipality of Austevoll. So this is really a place where you expect to get fish on your plate. And we visited Bekkjarvik this November, and we were very lucky to meet Asta Johansen. She's the mother of the twins Ørjan and Arnt Johansen, who are now the chefs in the kitchen of Bekkjarvik. It's very well known for delicious food. And Ørjan, he has won the Bocuse d'Or in Lyon in 2015, and he's a very well known chef. And his brother Arnt, he's the home manager, working a lot in the kitchen with the trainees and doing a lot of good work in the areas of sorry, I can't find the word, lærlinger. We call it lærlinger. I try to find it in my English later. But they are 2 brothers. One is doing a lot of things outside the gjestgiveri, the guest house, and the other one inside. But my example is about how they were interviewed in 2012, where they were asked how do they make their menu, and they said that, well, we have a lot of fish on the menu, and we fish some local ourselves, but currently only the shellfish can be delivered directly from the fishing boats. Several fishermen are working to obtain approval from direct sale from a boat. So far, the catch must be via the fish reception in Bergen. So they, in 2012, they were working on how to buy more locally. There are, of course, Bergen is not that far away, but there are really a lot of fishermen just outside their guest house, taking up a lot of fish from the ocean, and they can't really buy it. They have to go to Bergen to buy it and then go back again. And what they told us when we were there, that they hadn't found the right way to do it from the direct sale from the boats. There are a lot of rules, but as you can see on the picture, the picture to the right, they actually made and registered their own fish reception, or mottak as we call it, so they can organize the fish right into their kitchen from the fisherman, and it's all done in a way with all the regulations. So they actually had to make their own fish reception or mottak in their restaurant to serve the delicious dishes. And another thing they did is about doing the season, working with the season, very focused. What are the season for the Norwegian vegetables and fruit and berries? They have that on the wall in the kitchen and use it very focused. So when they want to buy locally, they can do that thinking about the season and also about finding good logistic ways to solve it. So I think that they're about buying food locally. You have to work with some challenges. One of them is the rules and logistics. Maybe in the small businesses, it's difficult to find the ways. Maybe you can work together on a destination basis on or finding solutions. So this can be done, because when you come to Bekkjarvik as a guest, you really want to eat fish, and you really like the fish to be local and as and traveled shortly, as we say. So how can that be done? So in a way that you all use the rules that are for your region and your country. And also the thing about the knowledge and the inspiration part. How can you inspire the businesses having courses? This is a picture from Voss where they have this course on local food with the Culinary Academy. And they had it in the high school together with the students, also learning together with the businesses, the tourism businesses, and they really got new inspiration from what kind of local food can be used in different menus. So that's knowledge and inspiration on this part. The second one on the reduce impact is on the second topic, is to reduce impact on nature and environment. And a lot of you answering the survey said that is important to us. We would like to work on it, but it's much more diverse on your thoughts about what can you do. Can you use more local guides? Can you work on information? I saw one of you said in the chat that you work on the smart ways of marketing, focus on more safety information, maybe a code of conduct, wilderness guidelines, also about building trails and manage that and use the new technology, and also reducing the plastic, as you answered also in the chat that you've been doing. So I would like to give you an example from Norway, from a place called Stokkøya. That's a peninsula outside Trondheim, Fosen. And I will show you a small film to give you some impressions of how they work on reducing the impact on nature and environment. Let's see.
Bygda 2.0 handler jo rett og slett om å lage en rural-urban kombinasjon, egentlig. Men det er ikke så mange ting som skal til. Øl og brød, så kommer vi langt.
Bygda 2.0 var jo grunnen til at vi startet Stokke bryggeri. Så var det jo spørsmål om vi hadde noe øl som de kunne bruke i rugbrødet sitt.
Vi bruker øl i brød. Kanskje litt rart. Den smaker helt fantastisk.
Så gjorde vi en deal om at det brødet de ikke fikk solgt, det skulle vi få tilbake, sånn at vi kunne bruke det i ølproduksjon. Så nå lager vi brødøl. Det er ålreit å drikke det og vite at man er med på å bruke ting som ellers blir kastet. Som med annen øl så blir det rester etter brygginga, som vi kaller for mask. Så det samler vi opp, og så kjører vi ut og gir til sauene ut på sjøsenteret. Og de er veldig glad i det.
Så blir det servert lam og brød og øl på strandbaren på Stokke.
Beer and bread and lamb. Would you like? Yes. I will give you a link to the video. Yes, in the break. Yeah, and I let's see because that's a very good example, and I will. So as you saw from the bread and beer at Stokke, it's a collaboration between a brewery, a bakery, and Sjøsenter or Strandbaren, and they really have this recycling of it in a good way. And this is not the only thing they do. They work very sustainable in all parts of their business. And I also have a small case from their festival that they started 2 years ago that I will share with you. It's Ingrid smiling at us. She's one of the owners at Stokke, and she's also a very good example of working with sustainability in the long term and never giving up on this work. So she's a really inspirational person in that matters. They had plans about this festival. First, of course, music and food and being together, storytelling, literature, everything in these beautiful surroundings. And they put on their own environmental plan with some objectives for the festival about waste, about transportation, about food, about purchasing, about nature. Really pinpointed out a lot of these issues. You can see on the picture to the right where they used, of course, this cutlery made of eatable material, and they compost it afterwards, and then of course it's going into the big circulation. And so they really worked pinpointed with good results, and they got a lot of publicity, of course, from their festival. And look at the pictures. Of course, maybe it's not nice for the Eminem concert arrangers, but this on the picture on the left side, that is Stokke Festival, 10 minutes after the last song from one of the headliners. Of course, they had 1,500 daily visitors on the festival. The other pictures around the same time, July in Oslo with the Eminem concert. This is, of course, a bigger venue, more people, but look at all the plastic, all the garbage that was on this arena. And this was actually taken as an example in Norwegian newspapers, and shows that it's a good example of if you would like to really target and measure and work on the sustainability, it can be done. They had in Stockholm, they had no straws. They had serving dishes that you can put into the compost, as you saw. They did not have any plastic glasses. They sold water bottles, or you paid for a water bottle that you could fill up during the festival. All the food was made in place. It was clean and tidy. They used volunteers that were really trained in about taking the garbage, but they said that there were not really a lot, because especially the plastic cups from drinking, when they don't have that, it saves a lot of garbage. And when you came to the festival, you got your own trash bags for sorting, and they of course had their own composting system, and they also got money from a local bank for working to make more information about these things. So of course they organized the public transport from Trondheim and back. You got a discount on a ticket if you shared the car with other people. So they worked really hard on this. They even had art with artwork with things they found outside in the sea as a decor. So they didn't have any decor outside, using plastic garbage from the sea to also make a statement. But when you meet the hard realities also at Stockholm, the first summer they had sun, the economy was in balance. Last year it rained in June in all over Norway, so they didn't sell so many tickets, and of course the festival business-wise didn't go that well last summer, so they had the visit and they had to close down the festival. So I think that they worked so good on the planet, on the people issues, but without having the business and the economy, it will not be easy to work on the long run. But of course, the Stockholm, they will not give up. So they are, even if this was a cold shower for them, they are working on a new festival coming up in March, winter bathing festival. So they keep on working, and they will survive with this one. But of course, it must have the balance on these things as well. So the third example on the strengthening the local culture, identity and tradition, that was the third objective. You wanted, most of the businesses wanted to work on in the survey. I will share an example from Flekkefjord with you. Flekkefjordbanen. Have any of you been to Flekkefjord or taken this railway cycling on Dresin, as we call it. Please type in the chat if you know it. It's a historic railroad, opened in 1904 and closed down in the 1990s. And it is an activity product, biking trips in the summer, when you can rent a bike for 3 hours, and you can be 2 persons, also 3 actually, on the bikes, and you go on the 17 kilometer of the railroad in a beautiful nature and in tunnels. Okay, what about the issue on the points of the using the local history? They used the experience design as a tool to work on this. The first time I met them, and I was lucky to be on the Fylkeskommune. It was kind of a product we didn't really know. Is it for adrenaline? Is it for fun? Is it for history? What exactly do you want to show me? Do you want me to experience in this activity? So they worked on trying to be diverse in 2 different concepts. The first one about a lot about being social and active with families and friends. That is of course something that a lot of people come there. It's a physical, it's a social experience on the track, steep, scary, dark tunnels. It's fun, and of course it's interesting also to know it's an old railway, but maybe not so much. Maybe more you're more into having the fun part together with your family or your friends. But working on this, they made a new concept with more like a local story in the core of the product. And the emphasis was placed on the history of construction, this old railway, importance of the society, the people building it, Rallane, the architecture, the local community around along the way, along the path, and how it's now being preserved as a technical industrial cultural heritage. The people buying this product, fun, togetherness, they are not so much interested, of course, in this part. They got a glimpse of it, but the people interested more in these parts, they maybe would like to go on, be active outside on the Dresin, on the bicycles as well. But they opened a new museum to tell more about this story. And here you have the major in the newspaper, and it's crowded with people wanting to take part of their history. And they are really proud about it, and they are making 2 different concepts, and they can also then tailor-made the extra sales. So it's not about, I think, doing all the local history and culture into all products, but trying to be diversified on it. The next topic you pointed out was a strategic new season development, and that's of course big issues in Norway, especially as you can see on the picture here, that it's one of the most important issues for the Norwegian businesses and destination answering the survey. So I would like to ask you in the chat, do you have an example of working on new season development quickly that you can share with the other ones? Please, anyone maybe from Sweden, Finland, sharing with us Norwegians about how do you do it? Autumn season, promotion video, thank you, Karin. Yeah, autumn seasons, yeah. So building up new seasons, not so much about stretching the season, but building up new seasons. And I suppose that, my Norwegian colleagues, they know about, let's see, Maria, Lapland Hotels, yeah, marketing. Product, yeah, I agree. Product development, yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah. So I'll give you an example of Trysil. My Norwegian colleagues, you probably know this already, but Trysil, a winter skiing destination in the southern part or middle part of Norway. A lot of Swedes coming there, maybe also Finns. No, I don't think so much Finn, but Swedes and the Danish people, customers to Trysil for skiing. And they are Norway's biggest ski destination, and they had 95% of all the traffic in the winter season and 5% in the rest of the year. So of course, very, very hard for the businesses and for employees for whole year around businesses and whole year around employment. So they started in 2012 with commitment and with partnership going into the bicycle project. A lot of destinations in Sweden and Norway and Finland as well work on bicycle in the mountain areas. So that's not something new. But what they did, it was that they really worked together on it, and they got their plan, they got their knowledge, they got their finances, funding, and now, as you can see from increase of the amount of employees in the municipality, it's starting to go the right way again. And they win awards and they talk about this all over. And I think that one of the issues here is really that they choose one thing. Of course, they work with hiking and golf and all other things as well, but they really choose one thing, and they are building up now to be a two-season destination. And of course, the winter is it will be the biggest season, of course, commercially for many years to come. But they have really been successful in working together on building up a bicycle product for everyone. So if you see on the right picture, the person in black is looking at the instructor. It's me when we were there testing the slopes, and I really I'm not very good at that kind of bicycle, the track bicycling, but it was very fun. So it's a build up for all kinds of tourists trying to learn about different ways of being a bicycle tourist in Trysil. On the other hand, we also work with Hafjell outside Lillehammer, and they need also, that's a ski destination, alpine destination, they also need to build up their summer, but they already have a lot of summer tourists from the driving through on the E6 going to the north, and they have a lot of summer guests already, some of the businesses. So they found it more difficult to work together on one big project. They have a lot of small projects going on, but not like Trysil that everyone said, yes, this is the way to go. We will partner on developing as a bicycle destination. So it's of course all something about where you start from. The fifth topic that I will give a presentation on before we take a small break again is the improved energy and resource efficiency, where you said that this is something you also want to work on in the next year. You already gave some examples here about heat pumps, isolation, energy efficient solutions, upgrade vehicles, and fuel. We have that in the snowmobile example here, for example. So this is also one of the subjects on the top 5 list. So I will give you an example on this one before we take our break. This is from Voss, my example, and they work in the Destination Sustainability Label program. Voss is close to Bergen. It's a destination on the Norway in a nutshell too, with a lot of tourists coming to see the fjords, as well as a winter destination for alpine skiing and also a hiking destination, and of course the extreme adrenaline sports as well. So they have a mixed base of customers, and they some of their businesses, they have really been working on reducing the costs and environmental footprint, like the Myrkdal resort, a new, quite new winter resort outside Voss. They work on the Miljøfyrtårn, or the Eco Lighthouse, as many of you also in Norway know already and work with already. And the manager there, he tells about how they work on different issues. They focus on waste and sorting of the garbage. They sort 72% now after working on it for a couple of years, from 2015. The level goes higher every year. They, on the technical side, it's connected to a district heating system that use locally produced wood chips. And this plant covers 50% of the total energy consumption for the whole destination, which is the hotel, the mountain lift, and also cabins around. And they, on the electrical car and charging stations, they've been worked on invest in their own electrical car for the cleaning department and the service department, and they have installed charging points for electrical cars, and also for the Tesla cars that a lot of Norwegian people have, maybe also in Sweden and Finland, I guess. So they also internally and for their guests worked on that point, and they have a very systematic follow-up of energy consumption, where the night guards in way too expensive in Finland. Yeah. I know, I don't have one. I wish I had, but I don't have one. I have a hybrid, car. The night guards at the hotel, they have changed also their routines, and they take checks rounds after closing, where they focus also on reducing the total energy consumption. So they don't only walk around as a night guard to see, to check the fire alarms or the doors, or if people have partying in their rooms, but they also focus on the energy. So the lights, putting down the heat, if there are rooms that no one uses, and they have a focus on it, and it saves the hotel for a lot of kilowatt hours a year. 140,000 kilowatt hours. And also in the heating, in the working in the Eco Lighthouse, as they've been doing, in the process of the hotel, they really they discovered that their system, it was not properly regulated. So when they saw that and they did the right thing in the control system, when it was fine-tuned, they saved 500,000 kilowatt hours a year doing that. So they are very eager on continuing on their path, working on Eco Lighthouse, and they are also now helping out other of the businesses in Voss going through the same certification process. And also that is a business example, and I will end the session also from Voss with more like a destination example before we have a break again. And they, I didn't really know a good English word for bygd. Maybe it's village. I don't really know. If you have a good word for bygd, please share. But they have now a case called the bygdebike at Voss, where again it is a partnership between business and public sector, because Voss is on the Bergensbanen, the railway between Oslo and Bergen. So it's easy to come to Voss as a tourist using train. But when you want to go around in the destination, it's not that easy. So what they are working on now, together with the railway company, Bygdebike, developing great in PTO south of Luleå, great. They have a partnership now with, of course, the municipality, the mayor, destination company, the train company VAE. Before it was called NSB, now it's VAE for you in Finland and Sweden, like SJ in Sweden. They are working with Share Bike, which is this company with systems and bikes for sharing, and they work with the parking company in Voss that will help operating the bikes as well, and Kveik. And Kveik, it is a company for social training for people who have been outside the working market or unemployed for some years and have trouble, health trouble, so they can't work like a full job. But they are now building a big project together, so they can have this big bike, and it's good for the tourists and all the people that also have their cabins in the area, private cabins, and the inhabitants, the people living in Voss. And that's also something I think it's important when you work with sustainability in tourism, that all the actions that you can work on, that they also get motivation, and it's positive for the local people. So this is their example, and it's that's a good case to look into. And I also saw that in PTO. Yeah, great. I see you have some questions for me now. So before we take a small break, I will try to, let's see if I can read them. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we had the Tesla, of course, and you have set with the Volvo, so am I. Offering information about where you can learn. Yeah, of course. Information where you can load your car in. Get Maria. Maria, in Voss, where they now have this destination sustainability project going on to get this label that I showed you in the first part. One of the issues, one of the criteria they need to work on is to increase the amount of companies that have their eco certificate. So what they have done is that they have groups of they mobilize, and they say, if you want to do this work now, we will put together a group with a consultant that can help you. It will be cheaper for you, and it will give you motivation to work together in a group. They work also very targeted on getting more private businesses to have their eco brand. And yes, Eco Lighthouse is most popular, I will say, in the time. I will go through it afterwards, but it's quite popular, and they are a good way to start. I know that you have the Nature's Best in Sweden and also in Finland. We have a list in the newsletter that I can show you of all the certificates. So, but I say that it is important to motivate and to work in groups, as you also do now in Visit Arctic Europe. Big the bike, yeah, Karin, in PTO, south of Luleå. Great. You should get in contact with the I'll give the contact persons in Voss, and maybe you can share. Let's see. I have just the chat. I just have to figure out how to miljöförtroende, system. That's true. I will give you the list afterwards. It's also in the newsletters. I will show it to you with the different ecosystems. Share the big bike. Yep, Bike the Fjords coming up. Share bike. Yep. The project, the Big the Bike, it's actually in the making. They are in discussions with all these different parts, and I will go to Voss actually next week to work together with the steering committee there, and I will yeah, Hilde, thank you thank you Hilde. Hope it was good. So I'll 5 minutes break now, and we will go into more discussions in the last part. Thank you. And even if we have a break, I'll put on the small survey for you about the Eco certification, if you have one of those. Please answer. So if you would like to answer the survey, and we'll be on in 2 more minutes. Yeah, if you can answer the small survey, I see that, well, 5 of you have answered, and you don't have a certification, any of you yet, but 3 of you are working on it right now, so that's great. Anyone more wants to answer before we end the voting? Yeah. So you are working on it. That's great. We'll go back to the presentation then. So as you can see, there are more types. The Eco Lighthouse I've been working with, and Mimir, we have also done that. But you have, of course, many more. And you have the Green Key, you have the Nature's Best in Sweden, you have Svan, you have Norsk Økoturisme, and you have ISO example. So it's about finding out what is the best system for your business, and to work together, I would say, with your colleagues. So in the last newsletter, we also shared with you some inspiration, links and examples. I will give you some input on 3 of them in the last part now of the webinar. And Milena, are you still with us? I hope so. You will hold a webinar on the 14th of February about nudging for sustainability. So I hope everyone will join that as well to listen to all the wise things that Milena can tell us about the nudging. But what I would like to share with you is the things about the other issues here. And I think it's about time to get certified. If you're a destination company, if you're a hotel, if you're an activity provider, or what kind of business you have, go and see into it. We will discuss it more when we meet you in Haparanda, but I haven't met any company yet that have said that that hasn't been worthwhile, and you get more systematic in your ways of working on these issues. So like Visit Vesterålen and Astrid here on the pictures, she told that we work on reducing our meetings and travel expenses using webinars like this one is a good example. And they've also been working on taking some meetings outside, internally or with their partners, to have a walking meeting. That would be great, I think, in our beautiful nature all over the Visit Arctic Europe region. So that's some inspiration. And as I said, use the momentum of, for example, now the Visit Arctic Europe project to really work on the certification processes in your businesses. We have had good experiences with grouping businesses together, like you see in Lofoten, in Voss, and also in Rjukan, where I work, where the destination company was the first one out. They did it first, so they know what's it all about, and they can be not a consultant, but they can be a mentor in a way for other business. So now there are 10 businesses in Rjukan working in a group. They had no at all tourism businesses having eco certification before they started last year on their work on the destination label. So it's really about using a momentum. The other inspiration I'll give you is to be bold. Challenge your business partners and guests. These are things coming also from the ATA destination, sustainable destination panel, that this is also something to be aware of. In Voss, where I used some examples before, Benedicte on the pictures to the left, she's young, she's very enthusiastic about sustainability, and she has her heart outside her jacket, as we say, for a sustainable future. So she asked, she had some issues she wanted to discuss on the dilemmas in the tourism sustainability work. So she picked up the phone, called the big boss in Innovation Norway in Oslo, not for the tourism side of it, in the Visit Sweden or Visit Finland, the big boss, but in the Innovation Norway manager, and said, hey, there are some issues I would like to discuss. And they set up a meeting, and she gave her thoughts and reflections to the management of the sustainability label in Innovation Norway. So I think it's when you work on these matters, use your engagement and talk about also the dilemmas. There are issues that are difficult in the tourism sustainability process. So talk about them. Because there are issues, and the tourism business will have to learn how to communicate and to deal with these issues. So if you say that you are working on sustainability, there will also be conflicts and discussions on what do you mean with that then. Like Bodø, sorry to Bodø, they are doing a great job in Destination Bodø, Visit Bodø with their work. So this is not about them, but Bodø municipality, they were the first municipality in Norway to declare climate crisis. England was the first country. Bodø in Europe, Bodø, the first municipality in Norway. And at the same time, there was this issue about big hotel plans up in the Rønvikfjellet outside Bodø, with a lot of different discussions. So that's, of course, if you talk loudly about sustainability, you have also to walk the talk, as we say, and that can be difficult because there are always these balance to be aware of between people, planet, and profit. So I think also that maybe that could be an issue for the Visit Arctic Europe to work about some communication for the members that can be used when you meet issues from the press, from media, from your local societies. Yes. Do you have any reflections or questions regarding these last inspiration issues? No. No? Are you still out there? Or are you starting with your lunch, maybe? Karin? Yeah, great. Milena and Karin and Guri, great. So I would like to ask you about, yeah, great. Can you use the chat and give me some example on where and how you seek inspiration to work on this sustainability field? What do you do to find your inspiration? Maybe you have some groups, discussions, meetings, talking with other industries, I don't know, newsletters following on these issues. I think that, yeah. Yeah. Small, yeah, great. Karin, yeah, just to start focusing on it and using the survey to get focus is a great example. Yeah. Yeah. Great. You've been report of the whole, yeah. Digital, yeah. There's really, I think the last 2 years, maybe it's because we are more aware of it, but I think in the newspapers, in Facebook groups, there are really a lot of discussions now and sharing good example, sharing inspiration, giving each other motivation to keep on the good work, because it's not really it's not something that you can start and stop. I think it's an everlasting story, and working on it gives more and more motivation to keep on. And so this work in Visit Arctic Europe will also continue, as I said when we started. This was the first webinar with some examples and learnings from Norway. And next webinar will be on the 14th with Milena, Nudging for Sustainability, pushing the small elephant, some steps towards a more sustainable future. And then we have a webinar on the 17th of March. And in May, I hope to see you in Haparanda, where we will divide into groups. Hardest work is to start, I agree. So we will use the Visit Arctic Europe to push and to pull the small businesses and companies to start the important work. Yeah, so I will go through some of the questions you asked me that I didn't respond on the right way, and discuss with Richard in the Visit Lapland to share the links and the films and everything for you in the right way. I suppose in this base camp maybe system. So I would thank you very much for joining the webinar, and I hope that you got some inspiration for your important work on the sustainability issues in tourism. Do you have any last comment? Please share them in the chat. Oh, thank you. You are good, and I really hope that some of the examples, as you say, are inspiring for you. So thank you very much for the good feedback, and I hope that the webinar went all right. It was actually the first time for me doing a webinar. Yeah. Also give me some feedback if you would like on how it worked with the technique for you. I think it's a good way of being together and sharing in this field. Thank you. So thank you, and I hope to see you all in Haparanda in May, if not before that. So have a nice lunch, and thank you for being in this